Manager here at Liberty Utilities here in located in the Downey office. There's something popped up on the screen. So we have Holly now on board, and we do have a lot of need for diversity vendors from, general contractors, roofing, plumbing, maintenance, purchasing materials, landscaping, all those type of contractors or diverse vendors for those type of needs we have as a company. We also it could range from, replacing fire extinguishers, working on air conditioning, to printing, labeling, anything you can think of. And let me give you a little background. You probably are all familiar with Liberty, but in California, we have two fairly large water systems. One located here in Downey, where I'm the ops manager for, and one in Apple Valley. And we work well together. They recently aligned the two areas. So we're kind of head up by our senior director, who is Frank Heldman. He's in charge of overall the California water. So we're working with multiple vendors to try to get all the diversity requirements. We've been doing pretty good, and I think we're going to be doing a lot better with Holly on board. One of the things that we do have a need in, I think is probably is pipeline contracting. We're currently utilizing two, and neither are actually diverse. So I would recommend, if anybody knows of any of those that we can do, that would be great. Engineering, I can just go down the whole aisle from start to finish on the number of type of vendors that we do need. So any recommendations would be great. Reach out to Holly or myself and provide us with some of those information. We can definitely help out, in that aspect. And some of our service areas, let me give you a little brief background of our service areas. When I said Central Basin area, I mean Compton, Linwood, a little bit of Santa Fe Springs, Norwalk, Bellflower. Those are the primary areas, and we like to use our local people if we can, but it's been very difficult to try to find those local people. Even mechanics for a fleet, to do oil changes, tire changes, everything from top to bottom. We could really appreciate and use those type of vendors.
Thank you, Gabriel, and just to everyone on the call, Gabriel, that was great. Thank you so much. For the 2.5 months that I've been here, I just learned a whole bunch of information from Gabriel. And so you can see that supplier diversity really is about advocacy, and supplier diversity managers are, in fact, your advocates, but it really is the boots on the ground, people like Gabriel, that really helps and supports. And I'm excited about the enthusiasm at Liberty Utilities for supplier diversity and looking for new opportunities that we might be able to align with. So Ed, I know you have the list of what this process will be and the next people. So I'm going to ask if I could defer to you, and then you lead us through the next presentation and those thereafter. Is that okay?
That sounds good, Holly. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And thank you, Gabriel, for providing the updates for Liberty Utilities. Next up is Golden State Water. And I'm not sure, Michael Moss is our new supplier diversity manager there at Golden State Water. So this is his first call with the CWA members. And we know Michael has a history with working with us from his months and years at the Supplier Clearinghouse, which is the certifying body that regulated water utilities acknowledge and use. With that, I don't know, Michael, if we want to turn it over to you to then introduce your operations person or not.
Sure, I'm very happy to be here. You have no idea. Once again, my name is Michael Moss. I'm sorry?
I said, I have an idea.
Well, thank you so much. My name is Michael Moss. I am very proud to say that I am the new supplier diversity manager here at Golden State Water Company. Woo! I bet you're wondering how new I am. Well, today is my 3rd day. And since I'm new in this role, I'm not new to supplier diversity. I'm not new to the utility space. I was a manager at the Supplier Clearinghouse for 10 years, which is where I see so many familiar faces as I scroll through the window. So if you ask me any questions about certifications, I'm an expert. But I do want to point out that in general, Golden State is looking for firms that are operating in the construction space, as well as contractors who can help with installations, pipelines, and electrical work. And as I transition and mature into this role, I'll become more of an expert on what our specific needs are here at Golden State Water Company. But I'm fortunate that I also brought some of my experts with me. I'd like to introduce two people. One, I'd like to introduce our Vice President of Regulatory Affairs, John Parati, and our Director of Capital Programs, Beth McDonough. And I think Beth is probably our best person to talk about the specific needs here at Golden State Water. So I'll turn it over to Beth.
Good morning, everybody. I think you'll probably hear some similar information from the different utilities. Similar to Gabe, we also have a need for diverse vendors in the operations work area, which would be, again, vehicles, maintenance, buildings, all the services associated with working in offices or working out in our plant sites, landscaping, fencing. And then we also manage a large capital program, which are construction projects, and we do primarily water treatment and distribution projects. So everything associated with that, we have vendors that provide us with equipment and materials for the plant sites. We have subcontractors that report to the prime contractors. And those could be like dirt hauling, material hauling, equipment rentals, geotechnical services, purchasing of materials. We do a lot of pipeline installation, so all the bits and pieces that go with the pipelines. We do electrical, SCADA, and process controls. And then our bigger projects, which would be well drilling, equipping, and abandonment, treatment, and then pipeline installation. So any vendors that would be associated with any of those primary activities or sub activities would be helpful.
Thank you, Beth. John, did you want to add anything?
No, thank you, Michael, and thank you, Beth. I think Beth did a good job of covering our needs for right now.
Thank you so much for
Well,
the
thank you
Golden
guys
State.
both for participating under such short notice. I asked yesterday, so thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael, and thanks to the Golden State Water team. We appreciate that. Next up is San Gabriel Valley Water. One thing that we may want to do, because some of our participants may not have attended the prior sessions where we really laid out who we are, what we do, our service areas, and things like that. So maybe we'll ask the supplier diversity lead for the company to kind of share high level the service areas so that the new participants would have an idea what areas you serve. I can backtrack to Golden State. I know Liberty shared Golden State, and I'm not going to put you on the spot, Michael, because I know you're new to Golden State. Maybe John can share maybe high level your service area, just so folks have an idea.
Yeah, definitely. So Golden State serves in a very diverse range of areas throughout California, all the way north. I think Clear Lake, Beth, right, is our furthest northern district. Furthest southern district is Calipatria, and everywhere in between. So where we don't serve is mostly central area of the California heartland. We do serve the Central Coast, but we don't serve around the Fresno area. But outside of that, we pretty much serve in a lot of different capacities. I'll also add that even though this is specific to water, there is also an electric company that's a sister company for Golden State that Michael also is in charge of supplier diversity for. It's Bear Valley Electric, and they serve in the Big Bear area. So I know it's very difficult to find vendors in Big Bear, but a lot of vendors just south from the hill there come up to do work there. So I think we can work with pretty much any vendor in any area because we serve a lot of different territories across California.
That's good, John. Thank you so much for that. And I think that's helpful for, as I mentioned before, for some of the participants that were not part of the other two sessions where we laid out in greater detail what we do in our service areas. So thank you, John. So next up on the list is San Gabriel Valley Water, and I'll turn that over to Jeanette Diaz to kick us off and share information and opportunities for San Gabriel Valley Water.
Sure. Thank you, Ed, and good morning to everyone. My name is Jeanette Diaz. I am the Supplier Diversity and Procurement Manager for San Gabriel Valley Water Company. We actually have two divisions. Our Los Angeles County Division is our headquarters in El Monte, and we serve El Monte and surrounding cities. And we also have our Fontana division, which is Fontana Water Company, which serves most of Fontana, some areas of Rancho Cucamonga, and unincorporated areas of San Bernardino County as well. Together, we serve a population of over 480,000. As far as our needs, I will also have Daryl Brown on the call. He's our Supplier Diversity Program Coordinator. So Daryl and I work very closely together in reaching out and trying to obtain new diverse vendors to work with in all areas of our procurement needs. Right now, some of the immediate needs, and as you may all be aware, there are a lot of things right now that are difficult to get or becoming increasingly difficult over time. And some of the areas we've really been looking into as far as immediate needs are water treatment chemical suppliers, pipeline suppliers and installers, pipe and valve fitting suppliers. Right now, we're looking for a vendor to provide and install backup cameras on our company vehicles that don't currently have a backup camera. And we're also looking for a supplier for large generators at one of our plant facilities. That's an immediate need that we are looking for at the moment. In general, and some of our long-term office equipment is always a supplier we're looking for, new office supply companies, janitorial services, electrical contractors, water tank cleaning and well rehab contractors as well. Some of the upcoming projects we have, and a lot of these are contractor and consultant type projects. These are included in our 2022 CIP budget of $101.3 million, which is our budget for this year. Some upcoming projects include site improvements, street improvements, well and booster refurbishment, electrical vehicle charging station at our El Monte division site, plant treatment system, green energy generational study, business continuity studies, and also we are looking to add a warehouse inventory scanning system in both our Fontana and El Monte division warehouses. So that's just kind of an overview of what we're looking for in immediate and long term. If you feel you have any of the capabilities to provide the service or product, please feel free to reach out to myself or Daryl. I know that we'll be sharing all of our contact information at the end of this presentation, so you'll have it there. But yeah, feel free to reach out to us. We have a vendor information form that we can send you, and we can get more information from you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeanette. Appreciate that. Next up is co-chair of our Utility Supplier Diversity Committee, and that's Lauren James with Suburban Water. So I'll turn it over to you, Lauren.
Great, thanks, Ed. Happy to be here once again. Thank you all for being here for all three workshops. I'm happy today to introduce Belinda Robles. She is with Suburban Water. She is our brand new procurement specialist. So I thank her for being here so much. She's going to get, well versed with supplier diversity after all our events that we include her in. So I'm excited. But today I'll be giving the update. And then we look forward to hearing from the vendors and how you can work with Suburban. So just a little quick update about Suburban. So we're in the San Gabriel Valley, and the list of our cities. We cover a 42 miles service area that covers Buena Park, City of Industry, Covina, Glendora, Hacienda Heights, La Habra, La Mirada, La Puente, West Covina, Whittier, and unincorporated parts of Los Angeles and Orange County. We have 75,000 total connection, which serves a population of over 300,000. We have 860 miles of pipes. So you can only imagine what we need after, because we've been around since 1891. So 860 miles of pipe that are over 100 years old. You can imagine that we need all things field, contractors in the field working on these pipes. We have 100 boosters, 63 remote sites, 33 reservoirs, and 18 wells. Our engineering team is the main function for and contacts for bringing diverse vendors on. They handle our capital budget, and they're the ones that handle our core functions of reservoirs, pipelines, pump stations, valve station, wells, planning, design, construction, governmental coordination, procurement, which is Belinda, new business, GIS, asset management, and operational support. So when it comes to suburban buyers, the people you really want to talk to is our engineering team. So you're lucky today to have Belinda on the call. As far as procurement and onboarding, we like to get to know the contractor. We like to hear about your experience with project management, operational practices, and we love to hear your qualifications. We always set an expectations and have a level of service from the minute we meet, so we all remain hopefully on the same page. We believe in responsiveness, standards and specifications, high quality products and services, and timely invoicing and completion of work. And for the initial project, we have Suburban's PO. We need to adhere to Suburban's PO terms and conditions, and we have low risk insurance requirements. So some of the requirements that we require a pre-qualification form. So anybody that wants to do business with Suburban, you'd reach out to Belinda and you would work with her to fill out a pre-qualification form. So since Suburban's really small, we don't just pre-qualify everybody. It is a long process. So when we have needs and services that we foresee, let's say through our general rate cases, every 3 years planning, we'll bring vendors on to fulfill those needs. So the pre-qualification process includes your insurance certificate, safety certifications, and California contractor license, as well as references that we do follow up with. I love our supplier diversity team because I get a lot of referrals from my team members. So the references are very good. So working with one of us gets you in the door with a lot of us. So keep that in mind. So the contractor documentation maintenance that we require is annual insurance updates, as well as your California contractor's license renewal. And approved contractors. We have special provisions agreement. We do sign a master services and goods agreement, and it's 1 year annual renewal. And we also provide internal contractor performance evaluations. Like, again, we like to have good, strong relationships as you are representing us in the field. We are very strict with our safety, and I know that does come sometimes our vendors, we do have some issues that we need to work out, but Belinda's been great and responsive. So some safety requirements is traffic control, overhead utility lines, public safety, potholing, shoring, and asbestos cement pipe. We need the Cal OSHA certification and the proper handling. Okay, and then we also provide a list of our safety requirements in the pre-qualification process. So in conclusion, I lost my last page that I put what we are looking for. So let me go ahead and find that. So in conclusion, Suburban is looking for what we really need right now is water service line blow off and air release replacements, valve replacement, AC and concrete surface restoration, steel take construction, welding and painting. Oh, I can't emphasize welding. We really need welding. George is our VP of engineering, has been emailing me, for the last couple of years about welding, and welding seems to be a field that we have limited diverse suppliers. So if you do welding, please reach out to me. Steel tank retrofits, earthwork and grading, site work, so like chain link fencing, wrought iron fencing, CMU block walls, landscaping, demolition, engineering design service, so civil, mechanic, electric, structural, construction management services, inspection and project management, electrical, and pump and motor installations, wells and boosters. So that concludes what Suburban's looking for right now and what we need. So if any of you meet that category, please reach out to us. And even if you don't, feel free to reach out to us. We do have a contact sheet. I did update it with Michael's information. I know John's so excited. So and so we will, I hope that we could send that out. And so please don't hesitate to reach out. I will share a success story if we have the time for it. I see Bianca on the call with Bobecki. We've been in touch. So Bianca's been in touch with Suburban for like the last 5 years. And I was finally able, we had an opportunity for some work to be done inside of our office. And I was like, I know the perfect vendor for it. Because Bianca and her husband Pete have stayed in touch with us. They have always, every time they reach out to us, they let us know what they can do. So when that specified thing came up and they said, we don't know a vendor for this, I said, I do. So stay in touch, let us know what you could do for us, and it might lead to something. And with Suburban, you know, you start small and that's how we like it, and then you grow from there. We started our electrical vendor at WBE. She started at a $5,000 job. She's now doing over $500,000 of work with us. So just keep in touch and let us know what you could do for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lauren. So certainly appreciate, and I ditto the Bobecki work because California American Water also works with Bobecki, and her and her team does a fantastic job. But as Lauren mentioned, it's all about staying in touch, and Bianca shows up and reminds us of the great work that her and her company does, and see, you know, we spread the love around all 7 of the major water utilities here in California. So great work, Bianca. I'm glad to see you're working with Suburban, and hopefully that will expand. As Lauren mentioned, and I'm buying some time here because we're going through this relatively quickly, but as Lauren mentioned, and which you've heard already, and you'll hear from Jose with Cal Water and Tim with San Jose Water here next. But what you'll find is a bulk of our spend, the larger dollar spend, is around infrastructure, because that's what we do. We put pipe in the ground, we replace meters. The large amount of the folks with the checkbooks, the engineering leads and the operations lead, is around infrastructure. That is not to say, do we need janitorial service? Do we need public relations? Absolutely, depending on the company and just the timing. But for the most part, it is infrastructure related. So thank you for the details there, Lauren, with Suburban Water. So next up is Jose Espinoza with Cal Water Service. So Jose will talk through his service area and some of the opportunities that is available through Cal Water Service. So Jose.
Thank you, Ed, and good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us at this event. To give you a little bit of context, in Southern California, we have operations in 3 cities, in Torrance, Commerce, and Westlake. However, the company does cover more than 20 cities across the state. We have operations in Bakersfield, in Livermore, in South San Francisco, in Stockton, and all the way north to Chico. With that said, the opportunities are all across the state, which creates a challenge as well. Many of them tend to be local, but others tend to be statewide. With that in mind, some of the active things that we're looking for right now are pump maintenance, water well destruction and rehabilitation, fence installation and repair. And we're also looking for industrial electrical contractors for generator install, for panel board replacement. And these are some of the actual opportunities that we have at the moment. Now, some of the ongoing opportunities, and by this I mean the contracts tend to be cyclical. They can be from 3 to 5 years. So we are always trying to identify suppliers in advance that can compete for these opportunities. Janitorial services, landscaping services, vegetation control, paving, and roofing. These are some opportunities that we have that we're always looking for suppliers that can compete. Now, if I haven't mentioned some of the areas that you cover, I do encourage, just as Jeanette mentioned, to send us your information. You never know when an opportunity will come up. At a time I had to look for a sewing contractor. We needed somebody to fix some caps for our meter readers. At a different time, I had to look for, we needed to install art public art in front of one of our offices. So really the opportunities change all the time. And this is why it's important that you send us your information. We do offer to diverse suppliers favorable payment terms. We are making our best effort to make sure that that diverse suppliers can get paid at a favorable term compared to our suppliers. So we also have a procurement policy that supports the program where competitive bidding events need to have a diverse supplier. And also we work with our primes to make sure that they include diverse suppliers. We take a look at their subcontracting plans, evaluate the subcontracting plans, but also follow up to make sure that they comply with what they propose. This is what I have for Cal Water. Ed, I can turn it back to you unless you have any questions.
Thank you very much, Jose. Appreciate it. I think we're going to do the Q&A here at the end. So for the vendors on the phone, please get your questions ready for us because we are running ahead of schedule of our presentation for you today. So please, we're here. We have 90 minutes with you. So if there's some questions specifically you want to ask us in general or specifically based upon what you heard from the individual utilities, please don't hesitate to ask questions. And I think the GLAAACC team will be facilitating those Q&As. So you can enter them into the chat or you can unmute your mic. My apologies there. And we can answer your questions. A couple of comments before I turn it over to Tim with San Jose Water. One, Jose mentioned payment terms. If you don't know, this is a good opportunity for you to know this now moving forward. Most utilities will work with vendors when it comes to payment terms, most. But the only way you're going to know that is if you open your mouth and ask about them. So we would encourage you when you're talking with these utilities, be it the water utilities, gas, electric, ask about their payment terms, ask if it's possible for you to be paid sooner or what is their payment term process. That's a very good thing to know before you sign on the dotted line. But I know that the water utilities, and we've had many discussions around making sure that we are paying not only our diverse vendors, but all of our vendors timely and promptly. So I would, if you didn't hear another tip from us, the tip is ask if they do have negotiating or if they negotiate payment terms. Some do, some don't, but you don't know if you don't ask. The other tip I would encourage you when you reach out to the supplier diversity leads or people in the water industry, the engineering or operations leads, is ask if they have a policy, to Jose's point. And I would tell you, California American Water copied from Cal Water one of their procurement policies, and that's requiring our non-diverse prime suppliers to engage diverse businesses. So we have a DBE, we call it a diverse business enterprise requirement statement that says any contract valued at a minimum of $100,000 or more, we require them to have a diverse commitment in that particular contract. And we do monitor and manage that and make sure that that's happening. So when you're engaging with these larger utilities, just ask the question, do you have such a policy? And then ask if you could be connected to some of those prime suppliers, because as small, diverse businesses, you all know that you do have to start small and grow from there. So the great way to do that is through partnerships or subcontracting with some of the larger, be it diverse or non-diverse prime suppliers. Again, I'm stretching this and buying time here because I know we have 90 minutes and we're ahead of schedule. So the next up is Tim McLaughlin from San Jose Water. So Tim, you're up.
All right, thank you, Ed. Happy to be here. My name is Tim McLaughlin. As Ed mentioned, San Jose Water. I'm director of our supplier diversity program at San Jose Water. So I know you've listened to a lot of our my colleagues talk about all the different cities that they cover. At San Jose Water, you only have to remember one. We are serving over 1 million people in the San Jose metropolitan area. I will say that San Jose Water is part of a company called SJW Group. And under SJW Group, we have Connecticut Water, Maine Water, and SJWTX, or doing business as Canyon Lake Water. So, we are on the East Coast and the West Coast and Texas as well. As it happens, we have a meeting with representatives from each of those locations. We call it our CLC meeting. It's a supplier diversity focused meeting that we have every 2 weeks that talks about supplier diversity in all of those areas. And I know we have a couple of those people. We had scheduled a meeting that coincided with this. So I just invited a couple people on that national call that we have to be in this meeting just as a listening capacity. I'm not going to ask them to speak, but I know we do have Leanne Wolbarski, excuse me, from our communications group is here today, as well as Anna Chung, who represents HR. So again, I'm not going to ask them to speak because I just invited them at the last minute, but I wanted them to see what these meetings were about. But what I'll do is talk in general about San Jose Water need. Certainly, Leanne and Anna, if you have anything to add, please do speak up, but it's not expected. From San Jose Water need, we are going to talk very similar to my colleagues in the construction area. I could just say general construction needs. Whatever has been said previous is probably also going to apply to San Jose Water, but some specific construction needs are general engineering and construction management, traffic control, backhoe services, fencing, paving, landscape, erosion control, electrical, hazardous and non-hazardous hauling, and some environmental work. Some specific needs that have come up in recent discussions are plumbing, electrical, building maintenance, and office supplies. I did want to make mention that we just recently received approval from the California Public Utilities Commission to move forward with a smart meter project called AMI, is another phrase that we use to describe that. And there's a lot of work scheduled to kick off. And I do anticipate that there will be many more opportunities for diverse suppliers to play a role in our rollout of AMI. This is not going to be a one-year project. It's going to be a multi-year project, and I can see a lot of opportunities in that space. Opportunities not just with San Jose Water, but with many of our current prime suppliers and some new prime suppliers that will probably be coming on to help us with AMI. So as I think Lauren said, and probably many of my colleagues, stay in touch. The best way to do that is to register with us. I have put in the chat area the supplier registration portal link. I would encourage you to register there. But also, if you have any of the capabilities that I've listed here, please send me your capability statement, and I put my email in the chat as well. And certainly what I would do with your statement is just get it to the right person within our group to see if there are any opportunities. And what I tell people, there are 3 categories of responses that you might get. One, I might say, I understand your capabilities, but we do not have a current need for that. What that would mean is you just stay in touch with me, maybe every 3 to 6 months, reach back out, continue the discussion so that you're top of mind. And eventually we may have an opportunity that works for you. The second thing that might happen if you register with us or send me your capability statement is that we may be close to RFP or close to making a decision in an area that might be something that you're capable in. In that case, if we're close, then what I like to do is try to get you in front of the decision makers. Now, the third category is we need you right away. And that has happened very, very few times. Most people are going to fit in category 1 and 2, but every once in a while, you do hit capability matching opportunity right away. It's very, very rare. So as I think Lauren said, maintain that relationship. Sometimes it takes a very, very long time and you have to be patient. So with that, I think I'll wrap it up and send it back to you, Ed.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Tim. So I will go next. I'm Ed Simon. I'm the Inclusion and Diversity Officer for California American Water, and thank you all again for attending. I was hopeful that 2 folks that have large checkbooks would be in attendance for California American Water today, and that's Ian Crooks, who's our VP of Engineering, as well as Gary Hoffer, who is our VP of Vice President of Operations. Unfortunately, they both could not be here today, but Gary, being the person that he is, sent me some points that he wanted me to mention from an operations perspective. So forgive me for reading because I just received this, so I'm going to have to read it to you here. But Gary says, when it comes to operations and the people that report up through the operation team, what really matters is the quality of work that gets completed. Whether our contractors come from our operations through the Supplier Diversity Gateway, which is this type of event or not, the work that our contractors complete for us has been and will continue to be outstanding. And he's hopeful that we will, and we being the operations folks, will have an opportunity to work with California American Water. He says in operations, we contract out a number of services and we expect to have plenty of opportunities again in the immediate and near future. Most notably, we're always looking for pipeline crews to take on some of the emergency repairs. He said that this is ongoing regional work, and we would love to increase our stable of qualified contractors who we can call, and this is a key, and I know we all have this, in the middle of the night to fix a main break or a leak. He says, in addition to emergency pipe work, we often need contractor assistance with more routine work, such as valve exercising, fire hydrant maintenance, and water meter replacement. We replace more than 100 meters a year, and we don't always have the staff available internally to complete that process. He goes on to say, on the production side of our business, and that's where we treat the water side of the business, we have challenges finding qualified contractors to perform well repair and rehabilitation work. And I know that's a huge part for most all of us, depending on where we get our water source, is around well drilling, well rehabilitation. So if you're thinking about another line of business and you can get qualified to do such work, that's a huge part for us. He then goes on to say that water quality regulations is constantly changing. So we need folks that have environmental compliance, water quality related knowledge. There are some specific chromium-6 standards for folks that are in the chemistry area or can help us with some water treatment areas. That is certainly something that we have an immediate need for. He says on a smaller scale, we always have opportunities for landscape maintenance, and you've heard that already from some of my colleagues, janitorial services, graphic designers, sign makers, and printers. Now, specifically, and I forgot to mention this, in California American Water, we're spread throughout the state. We have what we call our Southern Division, which handles all of Imperial Beach, Coronado Island, portions of Rosemead, as well as Ventura County's Thousand Oaks and some portions of Ventura County. Moving up the state, we serve in the central coastal area, all of the Monterey Peninsula. And then in Sacramento, we don't serve all of Sacramento, but we do serve quite a bit there in Sacramento. And then we also have a really small operation in Sonoma County in the Geyserville, Larkfield area in Sonoma County. But specifically in Monterey, he mentioned for distribution, we need locators. Anyone that is maybe certified in mag meters, the larger meters, and collaborating calibration of those meters. We have a small wastewater operation there in Monterey. So if you handle any kind of sludge removal, pumper truck or waste haulers, I think you heard that before, any type of collection system work, we certainly have some immediate needs for that from a wastewater perspective. Under production and treatment, again, well pump repairs, filter work, filter media replacement. From a maintenance perspective, electrical motor type of repairs. Specifically in Sacramento, this is from Lacey, Audie Foster, who reports up through Gary's team in operations and the engineering lead. We need specifically design and construction, well drilling, I mentioned that, well rehab, booster pump stations, backyard main stations, SCADA. So if you have any type of experience in SCADA, electrical control upgrades, generator replacement and new generator installations. So those are some upcoming and immediate needs that we have. I made a few notes here. Tim mentioned registration process. It's so very important that as you move forward and you want to work with any of the 7 utilities that you've heard from this morning, we would encourage you to reach out to us, understand our registration processes. We are part of the trade organization, California Water Association, but we're 7 different utilities. And so we have 7 different processes and procedures. Some of them are similar, but some of them are unique to our individual companies. It's about getting to know us collectively as well as individually. I think for the GLAAACC team members, that's all I had to share from a California American Water perspective. I do have a slide that I can share with the group that has all of our contact information, our names, our phone numbers, our email addresses, our website. I can share that screen now, or I know GLAAACC plans to probably send that one pager that Lauren James has so greatly updated for us recently, and includes your update, Michael Moss, for joining Golden State Water. So you're on the list so they can contact you right away as well. We don't leave anyone behind in this particular group, so you know. But I can share, if you want me to share the GLAAACC team, I can share my screen really quickly and talk through those contacts if you like. Is that okay?
That's free. That's great to do. We can also go to all registrants of today. So let me go ahead and give you access to share.
Okay, sounds good.
It's not letting. Ed, it's actually not letting me do that. Let me go
No
ahead
worries.
and pull that up for you so you
Okay,
can
sounds
speak
good.
from
If
it.
you wouldn't mind, please, it would be awesome. But we're very transparent here, and we want to make sure that we give you exactly the information that you need to make sure that you can contact all of us. Now, I would tell you again, we're 7 different companies, 7 different supplier diversity leads. Some of us are okay with you reaching out to us via email, phone call, or visiting our website. I would encourage you to certainly visit the websites that you see here. I think the GLAAACC team will be sending this out to all of you, but using technology, I would just take a picture of it So you have it here, but you see it has our phone numbers, it has our website, and it also has our email addresses to save you some time. What we've also said in this type of setting is that if you wanted to send one email, send it to all of us with your capability statement that you met us here as part of the GLAAACC series. You would like to specifically interact with us and share your capabilities. A tip for you, and I know my colleagues would appreciate this, when you do reach out and you include your capability statement, you can imagine we get quite a few emails with that type of information, but do your homework. Understand what it is that we do. We covered some specific opportunities to work with us. Say what you can do for us. Say how you can help us. Say how you can solve an issue or a problem. Or I heard on the call today that you need general janitorial service or landscaping. Let us know what it is that you can do for us in highlighting some of your experiences, as Lauren and I think Jose mentioned. Is helpful to say that, by the way, I've worked with California American Water, I've worked with Cal Water, I've worked with Golden State Water. All of that's very helpful when we receive such an email. But we look forward to working with you. We're committed to being inclusive of diverse suppliers. And I think you can see that from our collective results, working with diverse suppliers as well as our individual results. So with that, I think I've stretched this as far as I can. And I'm going to open it up for my colleagues. Did I miss anything maybe any of the supplier diversity leads would like to share before we turn it over to the GLAAACC team to facilitate the Q&A? Anything that I maybe missed from Jose? I know Holly had to drop off. She had another call here. Lauren, Jeanette, Tim, Michael, anything I missed?
Nothing that I can think of, Ed. You really went into some depth there, so nothing comes to mind.
Okay, sounds good. You trained me well, Jeanette.
I try.
All right. Okay, well, I think we're going to turn it over for any, let's hear the questions, and we'll certainly give you some answers here.
Sounds good. I think our first question is coming from Xenia Morris. I'm gonna find it. It says, is there a need for administration or technical support for these departments working remotely?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would tell you, and I don't know if we could have her unmute her line to just maybe give us some specific examples, but from an administrative perspective, and I can just speak for California American Water, most all of us have the administrative task handled through either our corporate office at the state level or at the our corporate offices, like Tim and myself have. But most of the administrative related maybe tasks are covered there. I'm very curious to what you mean by working remotely, because as you know, all of us are new to that in the last 2, 3, going on 3 years. So any help you can do from a remote perspective, certainly if you could speak up to what you're thinking there, that'd be helpful to understand specifically.
Hi, Edward Simon. My name is Xenia Morris. I am the owner of the PAM firm, and we are a virtual assistance company. So we have been around for 7 years now, and we provide administrative and technical support to corporations and small business owners. So one of the areas that I've always been curious to ask corporations of your, is if you have ever even opened up that opportunity for companies like us to support departments that are maybe challenged in the administrative area and they need that support. So I've always wanted to ask, and I thought this was a perfect opportunity to do so.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your question. And certainly I understand the services that you offer, and certainly it makes sense now. So I appreciate you clarifying that for me. And I would say this to you, you should probably reach out to us, because I know most all of us can be challenged when we have, for example, and I'm just thinking of this because it happened to my team recently, because I also have a business performance team where we lost a team member suddenly, and now we have the need to backfill that, and there's a lot of support that that person does to other functions. So that, you know, typically you would say, well, why don't you go out and maybe hire a temp for that? But hearing your company, that's something you should probably reach out to me. I'm very interested to see maybe how we can augment what's happening there in my team today with some help theirs. And yes, so I would ask you, please reach out to me. I get it, and I can see how small businesses could use your services as well, just starting out with paperwork and, you know, travel and things like that. So I get it. That's an awesome type of company you have there, and I'm very, very interested to hear more about that. I don't know if others have any questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Policy and procedures too. We also work with small businesses, helping them to incorporate and put that in place. So if you can share your email, I'll be more than happy to send that information. I've always wanted to ask, and this would be perfect time to do so.
Right, I will. Well, I think the GLAAACC team members are going to send out that one contact sheet, and that I have the email address, that I have our site to register, and then I also have our phone numbers too, so you can reach me and the team that way as well, Zenia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you for the question. Looks like Joy has her hand up here. Joy, or do we have other questions?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Greetings. I'm so encouraged by this call. My name is Joy Langford. I am the new appointed Director of Water for WRD, Water Replenishment District. And this is one of my passions, coming from the legislature, as well as having my own consulting firm, doing community engagement for larger companies like Hormel, Farmer John, Smithfield, and helping them with regulatory. This call is right on time, and I look forward to meeting all of you speakers, because that's one of the things that I'm very, very interested in getting done at WRD. So for those of you who don't know what Water Replenishment District is, we service 4 million Southern California people with water. So my district ranges from Culver City on down through Ladera Heights, where I live, Baldwin Hills, all through South Central, as well as Compton and Long Beach. So we're a very big district. Cal Water is one of our pumpers, but we mostly deal with the infrastructure, the water transportation, making sure that we have groundwater and replenished water to make sure that we have a reserve of 98% at all times for water. That when you turn on your spigot, sure as shooting, you're going to have water. So one of the things that's a big passion for me as a trained economist is to make sure that we are getting the contracts. Minorities are getting the contracts. When you come to lots of our meetings, you will find that most of the pumper community is predominantly white. Most of the contracts are granted to predominantly white companies. And we need more of a presence in our communities. If there's a fair in Compton that we are represented, we are the ones using the water. We want to make sure that water, that just people in Beverly Hills don't get access to excess water, that our communities actually get our fair share of water, and that we all as a global community are working together. So I don't know, Cynthia Hurd Mitchell gave me this link to log on to this call, but I am I'm quite encouraged and anything that I can do to help either you pumpers or as you can help me garner the support I need to get some of these larger contracts to be granted to people of color. I'm more than encouraged, and I don't feel so alone now, now that I'm on this call. So with that being said, I look forward to anybody reaching out to me. I don't really have a lot of contracts right now. We have mostly external affairs contracts, community meet and greets, that type of thing. But I think that's in the wheelhouse of a lot of the things that GLAAACC members are involved with. But I would definitely like to talk to some of the older pros in water. I'm a pro in environmental, but looking forward to engaging this community that's on this call. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Joy. And it would be our pleasure if you want us to certainly partner with you. I know you mentioned Cal Water Service. We certainly, I know in our Monterey district, we are under a microscope because of the amount of water we're using there and pumping from the Carmel River. And we're trying to resolve that issue there with the desalination plant there in the Monterey district. But it would be our pleasure to maybe partner with you on some type of Meet the Primes events to help you in that regard. So let's stay connected, Joy, if you don't mind. And maybe you can put your email into the chat and we can certainly connect with you at some point in the near future. But I will tell you from a CWA perspective, and I know I'm not speaking out of turn for collectively, when you look at our annual reports that we file with the commission every March 1, our spend with African Americans are very, very low, which is one of the reasons why we will continue to partner with GLAAACC in our efforts to educate African Americans on the opportunities to work with the California Water Association and its member companies. We got to do a better job at our outreach and awarding contracts, right, to minorities and African Americans in our efforts. So thank you for that, Joy. I appreciate that. Any other questions? I see one question in the chat here, and I think it's from Pamela Richards. It says, what if you're a very new company and have not operated yet? Can that work against you in attaining work? And you've heard me talk a lot here, so I'm going to defer if any of my colleagues want to maybe take a stab at it. I have what my response to that, but again, you've heard from me quite a bit, so I'm going to defer if, and their question is a valid one. You know, a new company just starting out, if they approach one of us, is that an issue? And would that prevent Pamela from getting work with us?
I'll go first. No. So, you know, we work with a lot of, I say, when I tell people when they're approaching us and when they're new business, use the experience you've had in your past and where you've worked. You have that experience. So don't say, oh, I have no experience yet. No, you have the experience. So I always tell vendors that are brand new, speak about your experience in that particular space. So we just started working with a new engineering firm, and they handled, like, we gave them a small project and they did a great job. And so we're going to continue to use them. And so they were brand new, but we gave them a small job. They showed up, they showed out, they communicated, and you know, that's how you get your foot in the door. So I say no. I say continue to reach out. If you could be added to the bid list, then that's even great. But I would always lead with the experience you have in the space.
I would totally agree with Lauren. I know some of us maybe have a requirement that you have to be in business a certain number of years. And again, that's, you know, our individual company requirements. But I know for California American Water, and you heard from Lauren, we do not have that requirement. We understand small businesses have to start somewhere. And you know, if you're engineering or you've been in the construction field, to Lauren's point, lead with that experience and how you can help, and just be honest is what I would say when you are approaching us. Don't tell us you can do something that you've never done. You know, so just be honest with your experience and in that way, and work with the supplier diversity leads like the Jeanettes and Jose's and Tim's and Holly's and Michael, Lauren and I, and to help help you navigate that lack of experience in the beginning, and then we can certainly help you. There could be in certain areas that we do require you to have some experience, and we'll tell you that. But there are parts of the business that we can certainly help you. And I know some of us even have mentor protege programs that you can inquire about. We also have, and I'm going to plug our water class, our water acumen training for entrepreneur readiness. We look to engage anywhere from 10 to 20 small diverse businesses, and we train them on the water, working with water utilities. We talk about our similarities. We talk about our differences. They meet quarterly. We bring in guest speakers from our various companies. So that's another great way to engage. And I think Bianca was part of that water class at one of the years, and maybe a few others on the call. But if that's something of interest for you, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. So, all right, what other questions do we have there in the chat, or does any of my other colleagues have anything else they want to add?
I'm not sure if this is a question or not. It's from Maritza Garcia. She seems to still be on. It says, we are a right-of-way firm, Del Richardson and Associates. Our services include temporary easement, permanent easements, or property owner engagement to facilitate project information for pipe upgrading, traffic, resident, and business access impact due to pipeline work. Are these services needed, professional services, or just construction?
No, I would tell you from a California American Water perspective, yes, we do have a need for some assistance there. Some of it we handle in-house, but there are occasions when we would welcome the opportunity for a company like yourself to augment those particular efforts or help us with those. But that's just California American Water. I'll see if any of my other colleagues have anything they want to add. Any assistance in that area?
At First Hand Gabriel, we do a lot of that in-house. We have a property manager who takes care of that, but there are times when we do need some assistance. So I wouldn't mind obtaining your information if you'd like to send it to me.
Same from our perspective. We do have an internal counsel, but I do know from time to time they augment with other contractors. So it would be ideal to see that information as well.
It sounds like that would be a great one to send to all of us, right? I mean, yes, your capability statement, and you met us here and email all of us. One email will cover all of us instead of trying to email us 7 different times to save you a little time there. Sure. I know Tim had to disconnect at the top of the hour, but are there any other questions maybe we didn't cover in the chat, or anybody?
I don't see anything else. I don't know if anyone else that's still on has a question. Speak now.
Any other questions? Well, we certainly hope you found this informational, and we look forward to you reaching out to us and sharing your capabilities. GLAAACC, to the GLAAACC team, thank you very much for the coordination for the 3 series. You've done a fantastic job as usual. Angela will be proud. I know Angela wasn't able to make it today, but certainly appreciate the work. I know we know it's not easy coordinating these events and keeping us on task and on track. And so we certainly appreciate the partnership with you, GLAAACC. So thank you very much. And to the members, if you're not a member of GLAAACC, you should be a member of GLAAACC. We'll say that to some of you that are small businesses and on the phone there.
Thank you for the plug, Edwin.
Yeah, absolutely.
We appreciate it. And thank you so much to all the speakers today and everyone who joined. I mean, it was so much great information, and I hope you guys will take advantage of meeting all these incredible people and begin the networking process and releasing your capability statement so you could start working with them, right? That's the whole point. So we have a couple of events coming up for GLAAACC, our scholarship program. We're having our scholarship reception on August 17th. Please join us. I'm trying to think. Jessica, do you remember when the Bank of America session is? I'm sorry, I should have looked at this before. But anyway, I will send that out to everyone that joined. We have another bank, Black in the AM coming up. And then we have a member meetup. So if you're not a member, we have this wonderful opportunity that we do at the end of the month. It's our GLAAACC member meetup where we get to meet everybody and you have a chance to introduce your organization and meet other people. And it's another networking opportunity. Very fun. So definitely join and definitely join GLAAACC. Anything I need to add, Jessica?
No, I think that's everything. I do think of a Bank of America for October 13th.
Got it.
So I believe that's our next one is Bank of America.
Yes, and so you can get all of our events. We blast every Thursday. If you subscribe on our website, you can have access to all our events coming up. But the events are also on our calendar on our website as well. So thank you, everyone. I think we're going to give some time back. It's 11:13, so we'll give you some of your time back. Again, we will send out the contact list so everyone will be able to contact all the speakers today. And if you have any other questions, you can contact them directly with those questions. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, California Water Association. Job well done, part 3. Thank you so much. Thank you, Edward. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Jeanette. I can't thank everybody. Michael. Thank you, everyone, for speaking today, John. Excellent job. And we'll see you at the next GLAAACC in the AM.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
guys. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Have a great
everyone.
day, guys.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.